Short of time, I won't take much of your time. And me and Nuno faced this yesterday also. So we are again down to counting the seconds and the milliseconds for finishing our presentation. So I won't blame anyone, but let's move on. Okay. Okay. Basically, I come from India, and just like it's been repeated, we are not oil producing country. We import most of our energy. And most of our electricity right now is generated with coal, as much as 60%. So it's a very polluting source of energy, plus we're paying US dollars for it, which is again having an impact on our balance of payments. So India really needs the alternative energy, and green hydrogen is a part of that. So I would just skip a few things so that I don't. Basically, our energy needs are growing at 20%. Thus, we really need to find all the ways of producing more energy and relying less and less on fossil fuels. Otherwise, we're already a gas chamber. We're gonna become a bigger one. We're gonna have more litigation on the environment front. So. Green hydrogen, as everyone said, they've explained what the colors are, so I won't go into that. As far as solar energy is concerned, China is taking such a big leap over the rest of the world that all of us are actually way behind them. And with an authoritarian regime, with things like COVID lockdowns, we all know what they can do to us. They can actually just close down your supply lines in a second. So we all have to rely on other things like green hydrogen to move on and to be less reliant on China. So this is why I think all the governments around the world have seen this as a good alternative, especially because it works very well with industries like iron and steel, refining, and also fertilizer industry, and as fuel for large vehicles like the ships and other things. So let me just skip this. And okay, in India we have a separate ministry for renewable resources. This is the one that's going to be handling our green hydrogen transition. And these are two bills which have come out for hydrogen and alternative energy this year. So these are things which would be of interest to you, but I would just try to just go through them in a rush because I don't want Nuno to just look at me again. So the thing is that we have carbon goals too, and the government through the Energy Conservation Act has advised industries and even large housing projects to have they've been mandated to use clean energy, and green hydrogen is a part of that. And then we have a green hydrogen policy which aims to have 5 million ton production by 2030. I would just address Armando on this because he was saying that both the facilities, the wind energy and the electrolyzers, have to coexist. It's not like that. In this policy, what India has done is we've addressed that. You don't need to produce the green energy yourself. You can buy it from the exchange. That's what's been prescribed in this. If Armando produces the solar energy or the wind energy, I can buy that and produce green hydrogen, and that will be counted as green hydrogen. It will not be become gray or blue. And this is a mechanism which India wants to bring in. And plus a concept of carbon credits. So all the industries which are being mandated to use green fuels, if they exceed their target, they're given carbon certificates which can be openly traded, which is a very good way to subsidize, at the same time not end up burning government's hands. Because if the government pays for everything, which to some extent they are at this time, they will invariably become unprofitable and they will have a lot of financial crises around the world. So these are other challenges which I think where the lawyers are going to be involved. Of course, green hydrogen is a field which is totally new. We don't have we don't have standard contracts, we don't have standard operating procedures, we don't have standard manufacturing processes, we don't have anything. So all the lawyers who have an inkling towards not working with the templates would really enjoy it. And the guys who've been just cutting and pasting would really find it very tough to work in this field because there are no templates. So the templates have to be made. So we'll have all the new policies because not many countries have come up with any hydrogen policies. So we'll have a lot of work trying to interpret them, and we'll have to suggest how to subsidize the hydrogen. We'll have to come up with the financing challenges and address the financiers how this is more viable and how this will actually serve them. And then in India, actually, like the 20-year gold standard contracts were cancelled all of a sudden in solar power. A lot of people financed solar power thinking that the 20-year state government contracts were going to be existing forever. But the state governments just withdrew them as the prices dropped, finding one reason or the other, so we have a lot of litigation in them. So the gold standard really does not exist anymore, especially with the right-wing governments. I think anything can be changed, even NATO can be disbanded. So I'll just skip a few slides. I apologize for that because Nuno is really getting a bit anxious. So, so I've just skipped a few slides. Now this is the way we are subsidizing the green hydrogen, and I'm addressing it from a lawyer's point of view because all these are things which might be challenged in courts of law and things which we will have to put in the contract. And of course, if we are doing a due diligence, we'll have to look into all of them. So I'll just address them. You can just have a production-linked incentive scheme. This has worked very well in India. Actually, for everything which they want you to produce en masse, they give you cheap land, they reduce the taxes, and they link everything to production, and that's how they subsidize it. They've succeeded very well with solar panels and solar energy production. Our costs have come down to 25 cents a unit, which is very, very cheap, I think. Like, I don't know if any other country has that kind of cost benefit. But solar energy in India, because of the PLI scheme, has really prospered. It's reached the scale, and we are at 25 cents a unit. So this is one way which we can use to make green hydrogen more popular. And it can become more viable even for the bankers because this won't have the 20-year gold standard contract which the state governments have already cancelled once. So it's gonna it's gonna be more lucrative. So then you have the feed-in tariffs. These are the PPAs which I was talking about. A lot of the states cancelled these PPAs midway, thinking that they were not profitable for them. So they found some faults with the contracts or the producers, and they just canceled them. Then you have feed-in premiums. I'm sorry I'm rushing all this because I don't think we have that much time. We have feed-in premiums. Basically, the energy producers, the green energy producers or the green hydrogen producers sell the hydrogen at market price, and then the government offers them a premium. This is a way to subsidize the green hydrogen production. And then auction, this is a way which Netherlands has used. So I think this is another way, and carbon certificate market, which I've already explained, is a good way to subsidize and get the production at par. Another question which many people ask is, why do you need subsidy? Why does public money need to go into something like this? See, if something can be produced at $1 and can be produced at $6, if I'm a businessman, I would always buy the $1 thing. Unless and until I'm mandated to buy the $5 thing, or I have some incentive whereby I can balance my $4. So this is the reason why all these things have to be considered when you draft a contract or when you do a due diligence from the point of view of the manufacturer or the financier. Then I'll just rush through this also. Uh, so this is basically the benefits of the gold standard contracts were basically the revenue certainty, timing certainty, and project bankability. But I also told you the drawbacks of this, that the government suddenly cancel them. So these are the recommendations. I'm just skipping this. I'm just skipping this also. This is what we are expected. This is why we are actually just propagating hydrogen, because this is what we expect. And with this, there would be a lot of work for lawyers. So we need to understand the industry. If we have to do the contracts, if we have to do the litigation, if we have to do their financing, or if we have to do their mergers and acquisitions, we need to understand what the industry is. And since the industry is new, there are no templates, as I said. Thank you. And this is about me, and I'm just closing it because I don't want Nuno to look at me again. And I thank you all for being here. It's been such a pleasure. I apologize for rushing it, but it's just that we have to look at everybody, and everybody has to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know.